On this page, you're going to do a 1-point perspective drawing in plein air, which means from observation in its environment. To find a 1-point perspective drawing, I recommend looking somewhere with lots of space, like the entryway of a hallway, somewhere in nature. But I do recommend adding some element of architecture because those nice clean lines are really going to help you out here. Before we move on, I'm going to introduce you to a really great tool called a viewfinder. When you see artists doing this with their hands, what they're doing is they're taking everything from their broad view and they're deciding what is actually going to be on the paper. It's not ideal to draw with 2 hands in the air, so what we've done is create a viewfinder for you in the back of this book on page 65. When you're ready to move on, flip to page 65, we're going to cut out the viewfinder, and then I'll give you the next steps. Here on page 65, we have our viewfinder, which we're going to cut out to use for our perspective drawings. You should have cut out this viewfinder in the back of your book. Hold your viewfinder up in front of you and look at your 1-point perspective view. When you're trying to find a 1-point perspective, what we're looking for is a big open space like the hallway that I have here. Anytime you're using a viewfinder, what this tool is for is to narrow down your field of vision to figure out exactly what you want on your drawing. So anything that you're seeing through the open hole of your viewfinder is exactly what you should put on paper, and you should consider the edges of the viewfinder the edges of your drawing. You can change what's in your view by straightening your arm out or pulling it in towards you. Anytime your hand's moving around, it's a great idea to find an anchor point. So use these notches to find one thing in your view that you could always realign with those notches. That way, if your arm moves or you start to get tired, you can realign your viewfinder back with that anchor point and get the original view that you started with. When you feel comfortable and you like your view, you can start drawing. I really like to find the point first, so what I do is I start measuring the angles with my pencil. Not pointing through the frame, but holding it completely parallel, you can use it to measure the angles. So right now I'm measuring the angle between the wall and the floor, and that angle is going to be pointing towards my vanishing point. I can do the same with the wall and the floor over here. And where those 2 lines will intercross, that'll be our point that we're going for. So on my paper, it'll look something like this. So this line right here is the line between the wall and the floor that I'm looking at. Now I'm going to start measuring that line that goes straight across, and that's where the doorway is. And then I'm going to measure this wall over here, and where that back wall meets the wall in this direction. We also have this really cool ceiling happening, so I'm going to go ahead and measure those with my pencil. Try to get a good idea. So now if we wanted to help us, we could kind of continue these lines and use those to figure out where our vanishing point. It looks like it's probably about here. And we can use that vanishing point to make the other lines correct. That means if we were seeing straight through this building behind this door, the horizon line would be somewhere right around here. Now you have the basics in place, so everything you're doing now, you can use the vanishing point that we just found. For instance, the rug, we can use that vanishing point to figure out what the rug looks like. Notice again, just like I've said throughout this book, that I'm drawing really, really light because I don't want to be locked into any lines that I create too early. I'm going to go ahead and draw a little bit of where I think those back doors are. And the couch. Which again, because the couch is going away from us, that's also going to respond to the vanishing point. Now that I have my view in frame, I can put down my viewfinder and start adding in the details. Remember, if something is off and you can't figure out why, what you're gonna do is just hold your viewfinder back up in position, find that anchor point, and then continue your drawing from there. It doesn't have to be the most refined drawing that you're going to do in this book. What we really want you to take away from this is finding the vanishing point and connecting the lines to that to show a great sense of space. When you feel like you've accomplished enough in this drawing, go ahead and flip to the next page where we're going to study 2-point perspective.